This is the 2020 Honda Civic Si Coupe, or Coupe, or however you like to pronounce it. It's the most powerful version you can get in a coupe form factor. Of course, you can get a Type R if you get a hatch. This coupe, however, is really awesome. You want to know why? Because in the back, it has as much room as the older Honda Accord coupe. And that means the back seat is really, really usable. So if a roomy two-door coupe is what you need, ta-da! But now back to the important stuff, because this thing is a very refreshing return to what used to be important in cars. I mean, it has a 6-speed manual transmission with 3 pedals, which is amazing. It has a limited slip, helical, mechanical differential in the front. Come on. It's lightweight, well, compared to today's standards where everything is like 2 tons. And you know what? It's just no-nonsense, simple, nice engineering. It costs just over $30,000 in Canada. There are really no options to add except some interior lighting, so that price is what you actually end up paying. For the money, you get a lot of car. As we mentioned earlier, you get the helical LSD in the front, a very rev-happy 1.5-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder turbo engine that makes 205 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. And best of all, it's made it to a 6-speed manual gearbox. Is it fast? Well, I can tell you for sure it's not slow. I mean, on these really salty, dirty roads, I did a 0 to 100, about 8 seconds. I mean, for sure you can do better. That's 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, not miles per hour. Overall, I have to say, performance is great, but only after the turbo spools up, because there's some pretty massive turbo lag. So here's a little demonstration. I'm in second gear, 2200 RPMs, 32 kilometers an hour, kick down. There, now the power is on. So it does take like a full second or even more than that. So in the 0 to 100, you probably noticed that for the first second and a half, there's like nothing happening. So, you know, that 8 seconds, if the turbo would have kicked in a bit sooner, could have been 6.5, probably quite easily. In terms of driving, the only complaint I have is rev hang. Let me just show you how bad it is. I'm gonna take my phone out and I'm gonna record this for you. My God, it takes forever for it to come down. It's like, back to the good stuff and the brakes. The brakes are pretty good. The pedal feels very nice. But what feels really nice is the steering, especially in sport mode. Oh my God, it gains the weight it needs. It's precise. The actual wheel itself feels really nice in your hands. Excellent stuff. Actually, once you press that sport mode button, it also changes the throttle response and, wait for it, the damper stiffness. Can you believe it? You get adaptive dampers at $30,000? Come on, who else does that at this price point? And you know what? They actually work really well. Handling is really nicely tuned. They didn't overdo it like the Type R in R mode, which is just brutally stiff. This one is actually very comfortable when you don't have it in sport mode, and it's still a little bit comfortable when you do have it in sport mode. It's a really nice daily driver, or it would make a really good partner for a long trip. Of course, on the track, it won't be able to keep up with things like the Veloster N, but what the Si is really good at is being a really good base for future mods. So if you start throwing some bolt-ons on here, well, this thing can turn into a real track weapon. But in stock form, it's really nice, quiet, and comfortable, and I like it this way. The interior looks really nice. Ergonomically, it's easy to figure out, and I really like the wireless charging pad and the pass-through for the smartphone cable. Quality-wise, the materials on the top are nice, squishy, and soft. The ones on the bottom are harder, but for the price point, this is pretty good. You get some nice features too, like the lane watch system, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, dual zone climate control, and all the collision mitigation systems you need. The seats support the body really well, and I do like the way these fabric bucket seats look like. I just wish that they went back to where you had them before you allowed somebody to access the rear seat. That's pretty annoying that they go back to a default position. That just doesn't work. The trunk is very large for the class. You get 289 liters, and the opening is nice and large. You can also fold down the rear seats for extra practicality. Running costs are probably going to be very low, except insurance, because we all know that Civics, their insurance is killer. But in terms of gas, for example, this one averages about 8 liters per 100 kilometers, and maintenance is expected to be pretty low since these things are pretty reliable. This Aegean blue color is absolutely gorgeous. It kind of offsets the design that is not my favorite, but it's okay, it works. They've done some nice touches for 2020, like revised bumpers, front and rear. You get a wing in the back that's not too crazy. You get very nice LED headlights and taillights, and in the coupe, the rear taillights actually connect on the top. It's alright, but for me, it's not super wow. Smiles per dollar are pretty high in this car. There's nothing really to not like, so overall score is 8.7 out of 10. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, press like, leave us a comment, and subscribe. It really helps. Till next time, be well.
Perfect.